I bought this car for less than $10,000 cash, rented it out on Turo, and the results completely shocked me. All right, now let's get something clear. I didn't buy a new Lamborghini. I didn't buy a Tesla. I bought a Dodge Journey. Isn't this baby beautiful? But seriously, it doesn't have to be beautiful. Sometimes ugly cars make the most money. All right, guys, believe it or not, when I got into this business 5 years ago, I wasn't a car guy, and I still wouldn't consider myself a car guy. I'm a guy that likes to see cash flowing assets produce great money while also getting great tax savings. That's why I got into the rental car business. And a lot of people get into this business to maybe drive something that they want to drive, like a luxury vehicle, things like that. I am strictly business. None of these cars are for pleasure. And that's why I made lots of money renting out affordable vehicles like this Dodge Journey. And in this video, I'm going to go through my complete costs and show you how you can turn boring cars like this that might be sitting in your driveway. You may have a friend or family member that has one, or might have some cash or the ability to take a loan to get one, and how you can turn these boring under $10,000 assets into cash flowing empires. And guys, in this video, I'm also going to walk you through the systems and what I've used to make my business successful, because most Turo hosts get this completely wrong with the flashy cars and over leveraging themselves. We're not going to do any of that. And I'm going to walk you through how to guarantee to get your first 5 bookings and the same steps I used when purchasing this vehicle right here. All right, guys, so let's go into the actual numbers about this car and what actually matters. So taking a look at my notes here, I purchased this vehicle on December 28th of 2024. And I purchased it for $6,901.47. Then we got this from auction, okay, so at that price, and we did put a little bit more money into it. Why did I put more money in? Well, we had to take it to a Meineke to go get a safety inspection, and Turo has a Turo Ready sheet that I like to make sure that we hit every single box on it before we list any of our cars that are available. So total cost in here, because I like to give you guys the exact numbers, unlike a lot of people on the internet, we have $9,343.10 into this car total. And that's with all maintenance, all repairs since we purchased it at the end of 2024. And now we're at September of 2025. So I've had this vehicle for 9 months, and I'm going to show you from my actual Turo account what the vehicle has produced. A lot of people on the internet don't like to share their actual numbers, so always verify before you go with anyone, guys. But let me pull up the actual earnings of the car. So like I always tell everybody, Turo is about 70% of my business, and then I do a lot of private rentals too, which I'm an expert with that as well. But Turo makes it very easy to scale. So you guys can see right here, this is for 2025, that I've done $274,207 on Turo. And that's just Turo. That doesn't include the private at all. But let's look at this exact vehicle. So the reason I'm showing you this one, it's actually doing really well. You can see that this vehicle alone has produced $12,133.27. And that's the 2020 Dodge Journey that we're sitting in right now. And like I said before, we have $9,343.10 in it. So let me do some quick math here. Okay, guys, so after doing the calculation, this car right now has paid itself off completely and profited $2,790.17. And what's so great about this? I still own the asset, and remember, speak to your tax professional. I can't legally give you tax advice, but I can say this is going to be a great write-off, and I'm able to actually write off 50% of this vehicle. So a lot of this income is going to be tax-free. And what everybody always forgets, I still own the vehicle. I could turn around and sell this for a similar price I bought it for, since I already bought it when it had over 50,000 miles on it. So I could get it at its full depreciation at the lowest point of the curve. So when I go to resell it, it only depreciated maybe a few $100s versus a lot of people buying brand new cars. They're losing thousands of dollars taking it off the lot. So these numbers are extremely solid, and people love this vehicle, even though Dodge hasn't always been my #1 pick, but I do like to diversify. And if we're able to get a wide range of vehicles, I always recommend that, because of the open recall issues that can wipe out somebody's entire fleet if there's one issue with a certain make and model. And that's why I like to have different brands, different makes and models in different years, just to have a completely diversified fleet so nobody can take me down. And that's why I do the private rentals too, just as another way in case, anything ever happened to Turo or any of these other platforms we're on. The rules that I teach you stay the same, but the platforms will change over time. So this is evergreen information that's always going to be applicable to you. And guys, we specialize with helping people find the best vehicles in their area at Car Rental Coach. We do complete market analysis. We work with you one-on-one to help you start and scale your car rental business. This isn't some course. You're working with me directly and my team, as well as joining the largest car rental coaching community there is in the world. We have a Slack channel with hundreds of members that have weekly calls, come together, come up with plans, network, co-host for each other. And we have such a strong community, guys, where everybody in the program is making good money, helping each other out, and just love what we're doing here. We're not just building some course. We are building the community and the complete infrastructure, from insurance to your private rental website being built, to getting the best trackers, to having the best deals through our connections. And that's what we do if you work with us at carrentalcoach.com. You can fill out our 60-second survey to see if you qualify to work with us. And if you do, you'll be a part of the team. Just like the biggest boss, Rick Ross. For those who aren't familiar, Rick Ross is a 7-8 figure entrepreneur with multiple business ventures, one of the most famous men on the planet. And he recently endorsed Car Rental Coach after seeing how well we handle our business, and he is a big fan. Hear from the biggest boss, Rick Ross himself.
Big boss Rick Ross, salute Car Rental Coach. Y'all doing it big, handling big business, and good looking for always using that slippery soap, baby. Keep hustling, keep winning. Boss Rick Ross.
And guys, Rick Ross, right? A huge rapper, businessman, entrepreneur, New York Times bestseller as well. But you know, we're not renting out the cars that Rick likes, right? Rick Ross is used to driving Lamborghinis and probably cars so expensive that I can't even pronounce them. We're not doing that, and Ross appreciates that. He sees the value in renting economy cars and understands that's where the money is, like what we're in right now. I could have bought a really nice Lambo or something that, you know, I can drive by while I'm listening to Rick Ross and looking cool. But then your maintenance on that is thousands of dollars. Just tires alone, hundreds to thousands of dollars in that. Not hundreds of thousands, hundreds to thousands. And then brakes, rotors, insurance for these luxury vehicles. Nobody likes to talk about that. The insurance can get out of control. And that's even if you can get somebody to insure a supercar, which isn't the easiest task. I have connections to get that done. It took me a long time in the industry, but for somebody starting out in this business, I do not recommend it unless you're in certain markets that I've helped people with. But for most of you watching at home, don't mess around with the luxury space or you might get just completely destroyed. Guys, it's still such a special moment to me when I first made the investment to get that sign right there and be able to have this entire lot to rent cars out of. But truth be told, when I got that sign, when I first got started, I used to spend a little bit too much money for appearances and the type of cars I wanted to buy. I had it in my head that this needs to be a luxury business. This needs to be something where I'm renting cars that I want to drive myself. And being somebody that was in my early to mid 20s when I started, I'm in my 30s now. You know, I was in that age where I wanted to look cool, and I probably wanted to take some pictures on the car and post them on Facebook and Instagram and that kind of stuff too. Then as I matured and I started doing the math, I realized that's not the way you run a business like this. I started out with BMW X5s because I like BMWs to drive myself, and I had some Mercedes too. And I noticed with my clientele with the BMWs, if I had one that was a little bit older, people expected them to be completely perfect, which makes sense. When you're renting something that's more premium, you want a nicer car that's perfect, but I was still buying these things a little bit older to make them affordable. I didn't want to put $40,000 or $50,000 into one, but I might have bought one that was around $20,000. And that's, the renters were fine. The money was okay on them. But the maintenance just wrecked me. People abuse cars. And when people are renting nicer cars from you, like BMWs, what do you think they're going to do? Do you think they're going to go the speed limit and drive them really nice? No, they're going to put a lot of wear and tear on them to the point where you're constantly getting oil changes, brakes, rotors, and then ended up losing $5,000 because of an oil pan going bad because I could only take it to a dealer because they engineer these cars to make it so you're reliant on the dealership that made them for the rest of their life. I mean, great continuity business to make us always have to come back, but as a rental car business owner, I like to be able to use my own people and find the best deal. I don't like to be stuck using BMW because BMW has complete control on my business. then it's almost like they own the business or a part of it if I'm always going to them and need them to do the service. So I realized the unsung hero in the cars that were making my highest ROI were the little beater cars that some people call them, the cheapies. And believe me, all my cars are well maintained. They're nice cars, but I'm saying little nicks and scratches you can get away with. So I have cars like this here that are killing it. My Ford Focus, my Hyundai Elantra, and I like to show you guys everything I'm doing transparently. So take a look at this. So people will ask me, does a car have to be perfect to be put on Turo? The answer is no. Obviously, we want everything to look as nice as possible, but you'll see small defects. So look right here. This was touched up and painted, but you can see a small indent here. How many complaints do you think I've received about that? Guess what? Not one. Because when you're dealing with economy customers, as long as you're able to keep prices reasonable for them, they want to keep these cars and rent them for months at a time, and they're just happy to get them. So I've been continuing to double up on purchases like this and put the BMWs and stuff in the past. I still buy some nicer vehicles once in a while. For example, I have this Ford Explorer that I co-host. This is a $40,000 to $50,000 car. So I'm not saying never buy anything new or never buy anything nice, but I'm saying that you should really do your numbers and keep the economy cars as number one in your mind. Then once you keep building those out, maybe start buying a few nice cars to sprinkle into the fleet just to keep your fleet competitive and have some diversification no matter what kind of market we're in. We all understand the economy can change. When the economy is doing bad, which cars are the first to go? That's going to be the luxury cars because people can't afford them. They need to get from point A to point B. That's when my economy cars are always going to do well, guys. Think about it like real estate properties. You can buy your Section 8 properties, and so you go from your Section 8 to your McMansions. We have, there's tons of different properties, and a lot of real estate professionals will say you should have a diverse portfolio. Same thing in this car business, guys. All right, guys, and so I just want to give you that rundown to show you what you can actually make off these type of cars, but then just some tips and tricks to getting started. Always, always, always make sure you are over picturing. Do not under picture when you're renting this car because you do not want to lose money when it comes to insurance. Another thing, before you buy the car, make sure you do a market analysis report. And if you don't know to, hire somebody to do one for you because that's going to tell you the best cars to put in your area. And that's so important. When listing the car, take a look at your competition, see what everything else is priced with. Look at Turo's dynamic pricing, which is Turo's algorithm that looks at supply and demand to give you suggestions on what you should rent your car out for. And then make sure that when you're launching it, you want to be a little cheaper than the competition. Think about it. You're the new kid on the block. You put a car up here. You have 0 reviews. Why should I trust you? You want to make sure that we get the car out there and make sure your availability is as wide as possible. Make sure your pickup times are as fast as possible. Make sure you have that good customer service and watch out for that price on it because people are going to go with price on your first couple trips because you don't have any reviews, guys. So take a look at the competition, make sure you're lower than them, make sure your hours and your window of availability if your business is huge. And guys, I love the lockbox system I put together. When you work with us at Car Rental Coach, I go into full detail and set up the whole thing with you one-on-one. But really, you want to get a lockbox on the cars and you want to have a code so you don't have to be there physically to pick them up. Let me show you what I mean. So I use these lock boxes right here. We put them on the car when we know we have a pickup. I also keep them on after hours because I have security cameras and I have hardwired trackers in all of these vehicles. So I'm not scared of them getting stolen and nobody knows the code until it's booked. But what we do, when it's after hours, somebody wants to pick my car up at 10 p.m., 11 p.m. when Enterprise and all the big guys are closed, they come to me and I'm always open. So I give them the code after I verify their information, get the keys, they go in the car, they take this lockbox off of it, put it in the vehicle, and then from there, they return the car the same way. And it's all about your systems, guys. I have automations that go out to check every guest in, and I try to keep my employee overhead as low as possible. I have a right-hand man, John, that you've probably seen in some videos, who manages my fleet for me now while I handle the bigger things like acquiring more cars and insurance. But without these systems I have, this business would cost so much when it comes to overhead and labor and just cut down my availability completely where I don't think it would make sense and it would make less money. So guys, it's all about the right systems. It's about your availability and choosing the right cars. And we love economy cars here at Car Rental Coach. And guys, I know this is a lot of information we went over and we're honestly just scratching the surface. There's so much more that we go into with all of our other videos. And I go into even more of this, like the actual tactical stuff, when you work with us one-on-one at carrentalcoach.com, where I'm gonna help you guys out with every single thing I talk about here, but we're gonna do it every step of the way with me holding your hand and making sure that everything is done properly so you are successful from the very start. So if you're interested in working with me and my team one-on-one to really blow this business up and take it to the next level, go to carrentalcoach.com. And guys, I know proof is everything. I have hundreds of clients I've worked with. I want you to hear from Devin right here. So Devin came to us because he already had a Turo fleet and it wasn't maximized to what it could do. We helped blow him up. So hear from Devin right now.
Hi everyone, Devin here, owner of Teal Corp, which is a car rental company on Turo. Just want to take a moment to share something with you that's been a huge difference for our business. So when we first started out on Turo, I was figuring things out on my own. And then I came across George and his YouTube show, Car Rental Coach. And then from there, we took that and decided to build a working relationship as a client of his, where we started, working one-on-one and having reoccurring meetings and really getting into the nuts and bolts of how the Turo business runs. And so far, we've had some huge improvements. So if you're new to Turo or you're trying to scale up, this is hands down one of the best resources you can tap into. And I can tell you from my personal experience working with George and Peter, they've helped us streamline our processes, optimize our listings, and boost our bookings. So thanks to Car Rental Coach, we've been able to offer a better experience to our customers and all while growing our fleet. It's made a huge impact on our bottom line. One of the most recent additions to our fleet was actually sourced by George's team as well. It's a 2017 Kia Sportage, and it is an absolutely beautiful vehicle. It's been booked out pretty much fully the entire time since we got it listed, which has been a huge impact to our business. So whether you're looking to just start on Turo or you're actually already have a Turo business and you're trying to scale it up, George covers everything on how to handle multiple vehicles, automate your workflow, strategies to maximize your income. So whether you're serious about growing your Turo business or you just want to avoid some of the common mistakes, I highly recommend checking out Car Rental Coach on YouTube. And George breaks it all down, practical advice you can actually use. Trust me, it's a huge game changer. So go subscribe to Car Rental Coach and start leveling up your Turo business today. Thanks for watching and best of luck with you on your journey in Turo. Bye.